From Studio 1A in Tampa, Florida, comes a talk show that really feels your pain and tells you like it is. We love America and all that freedom-loving Americans want to protect. Live from coast to coast and on your radio, it's For the People with Keith Allen.
We'll help you survive this thing called life. We're for the people. Whatever your source of stress or strife, for the people is there.
Well, hello, Mr. and Mrs. America. I am Keith Allen and proudly welcoming you to this Thursday's edition of For the People. It's June the 22nd, 2017, and we got a lot to cover today. On the House, Senate trying to pitch health care again, and House Democrats are not liking too much what's in that again, so comments about that. But first, we go to the Tropical Storm Update Center to find out exactly what the storm did overnight. Cindy did make landfall last night in southern Louisiana, and one day after the storm killed a 10-year-old boy. You may have heard about that. The Gulf Coast states from eastern Texas to northwestern Florida are bracing for a third day of severe weather as this storm is swirling. However, good news is today, Cindy's maximum sustained winds have decreased near 40 miles per hour. And looking at this, forecasters have issued a flash flood watch today through Friday afternoon for eastern and southeastern Arkansas as Cindy heads towards the state. Now, the National Weather Service said the storm will move into southern Arkansas later today and bring scattered thunderstorms to the area. It could get 2 to 5 inches of rain. If you're in Arkansas, hunker down. That's a lot of rain. Storm's been blamed for one death in Fort Morgan, Alabama. That 10-year-old boy that I just mentioned here from Missouri, who was vacationing at Fort Morgan. He was killed after a log carrying by a large wave struck him, according to Baldwin County Sheriff Captain Stephen Arthur. The child was not immediately identified. And storm, widespread coastal highway flooding, rough seas, scattered reports of power outages, and building damage caused by the high winds. There were numerous reports of waterspouts and also some short-lived tornadoes spawned by the storm. Forecasters were estimating the storm had dumped anywhere from 2 to 10 inches of rain in various spots along the Gulf Coast, from southern Louisiana to the Florida Panhandle as of yesterday, and more rain is expected. And this is just the beginning. This is storm season. It's just kicking off here, so just make sure you have what I learned when I lived in Northern California for a short time, because, you know, they have earthquakes, and they had something called a bug-out bag. And basically what you did is you had this thing in your car, and it was just loaded with, a radio with batteries and water and food and medicine, just, clothes, deodorant, just things you would need just in case. I mean, you need to grab it and run and take off. But you need to have a supply of water, bare minimal, and some canned goods and some non-perishables on hand just in case. People go crazy when storms hit, and especially if you got short notice. It's a lot easier and a lot more affordable if you actually stock up, if you have a pantry. And if you don't have a pantry, you put some of the stuff maybe, under the bed, or trying to make some room in the closet, or under the couch, behind the couch, something. But be smart about it, because retailers know. You're not supposed to do price gouging, but unfortunately, they still do it. Yeah, it's illegal. They say usually the governors come out when they just declare like a state of emergency not to do it. They'd be fined, and the punishments for somehow there's always idiots that will try to do it. Nancy Pelosi, her party might be turning against her. And even so, because of the Georgia loss and just because of the loss of so many seats around the country, this is Nancy Pelosi this morning at her finest. And it's just amazing what comes out of her mouth. But here's her.
But I am proud of the unity that we have had, and frankly, my leadership in terms of keeping everybody together on fighting the health care bill in the House of Representatives.
What?
Very proud of our success in defeating it the first time, moving them to the right, to a place that I think is unsustainable, but defines who they are very clearly. I'm very proud of our unity, which gave me leverage to succeed enormously in the negotiations on the omnibus bill. And when it comes to the issues, we are united in terms of our concern for America's working families. That's what unifies us. When it comes to personal ambition, having fun on TV, have your fun. I love the arena. I thrive on competition, and I welcome the discussion, but I am honored by the support. Every action has a reaction. I try to say that to them. Every attack provokes a massive reaction that is very encouraging to me, from my members, from our supporters outside and across the country.
Joe Cunningham of South Carolina says the Democratic Party needs new leadership now. If elected, I will not vote for Nancy Pelosi for Speaker. Time to move forward and win again. Okay, this is Joe Cunningham of South Carolina. They're seeing the writing on the wall for their own party. Representative Catherine Rice, a Democrat from New York, was telling CNN, we need a leadership change. It's time for Nancy Pelosi to go and the entire leadership team. Representative Tim Ryan, a Democrat from Ohio, who ran against Pelosi in the last leadership election, didn't invoke his former rival by name, but did by association, saying that the Democratic product has grown spoiled and rotten in recent years. Okay, this is her own party. Some people say she's not in danger of losing her seat. I think she's very much in danger of losing her seat. Dude, the party is already shot anyways. And here she continues this morning.
We always have this discussion. One is one, two is a couple, three is a few, some. But I feel very confident in the support that I have in my caucus. No, my timing is not about them. My comments is about the issues that we're here to fight, and we're fighting right now on the health care bill. The expansion of opportunity in our caucus has been great for people who want to take advantage and help us win. Maybe they don't want to play in that arena.
Listen to what Donald Trump had to say this morning on Twitter. I'll read it. I have it right in my hand here. It says, I certainly hope that the Democrats do not force Nancy Pelosi out. That would be very bad for the Republican Party. And please let crying Chuck stay. You gotta love it. It's a little levity. I mean, you gotta have it. I mean, they're imploding at the seams. And Chuck Schumer, I gotta tell you, this guy is a snowflake of snowflakes. This guy is a bleeding heart liberal. You can't get any better. Chuck Schumer of New York, here saying how bad the bill is, how bad for seniors and grandma's house and all this other crappy. As painful as it is, and we'll hear from Majority Leader also on the other side, Mitch McConnell, but Chuck Schumer, and this is what he had to say on the House floor today.
More than $800 billion the House bill already cuts from the program. And every senior in America should read the fine print of this bill. It looks like American seniors could be paying way more. Why do this? Looking at the bill, the answer is because the Republicans want to give a tax break to the wealthiest Americans.
Oh, my God.
Those making over $200,000 a year, and set themselves up to give these folks another, even larger tax cut in their tax bill.
You know, forget that Obamacare is imploding. Forget about that it's in this state. If Obamacare was working, if it was successful, if it did what it said it was going to do, we would not even have to be here to debate it. We wouldn't have to waste airtime on this broadcast or any other radio show to even talk about it if it was so successful. But these bleeding hearts on the left, they still cannot let it go because it was the legacy of Barack Hussein Obama. It's the only thing they have but it's imploding. Over 100% have gone up on deductibles. 150, 200%. It's gone up. People can't afford it. It's not affordable. The Affordable Care Act is not affordable. It's expensive. And so the only thing that the liberals can do is say, oh, well, the Republicans want to fix it because they want to give tax breaks to the rich, as if the Democrats are not getting rich from the bill itself. Of course, the payoffs from the insurance companies. So we don't want to mention that. No, of course not. And by the way, there are other crap as Schumer goes on, basically saying, oh, the Republicans want to rush this through. Excuse me, Republicans didn't even get the opportunity, and Nancy Pelosi admitted she didn't even read what was in the Health Care Act. So you want to talk about a rush? Republicans did try to give Barack Obama his Health Care Act. They okay, fine. Let's do it. Let's try it. They tried to work with him. And as Republicans haven't been able to work on anything else that would be better, we've had 8 years to work on it. Right now, it's House Republicans. It's the biggest issue right now that's going to be holding that back. We're going to talk more about that. Here is House Majority Leader Mitch McConnell.
Does it sound like Obamacare is working? They said it wouldn't increase choice. They said it would increase choice. They said it would increase choice, but of course it didn't. This year, 70% of American counties have had little or no choice of insurers under Obamacare. Next year, at least 44 counties are projected to have no choice at all, meaning, yet again, Americans could be thrown off their plans in states like Missouri and Ohio and Wisconsin. Does it sound like Obamacare is working? Now Democrats would tell us it'd be wrong for the Senate to actually address these problems in a serious way, while the law they've defended for 7 years teeters, literally teeters on the edge of total collapse. They were wrong before. They're wrong again now. Because Obamacare isn't working by nearly any measure, it has failed, and no amount of 11th hour reality denying or buck passing by Democrats is going to change the fact that more Americans are going to get hurt unless we do something. I regret that our Democratic friends made clear early on that they did not want to work with us in a serious bipartisan way to address the Obamacare status quo. But Republicans believe we have a responsibility to act, and we are, for our constituents, for our states, and for our country. We've long called for a better way forward, and we've been engaged in intensive talks on how to get there. Through dozens of meetings open to each and every member of the conference, we've had the opportunity to offer and consider many ideas for confronting the Obamacare status quo. We debated many policy proposals. We considered many different viewpoints. In the end, we found that we share many ideas about what needs to be achieved and how we can achieve it. These shared policy objectives and the solutions to help achieve them are what made up the health care discussion draft that we finished talking through this morning. We agreed on the need to free Americans from Obamacare's mandates, and policies contained in the discussion draft will repeal the individual mandate so Americans are no longer forced to buy insurance they don't need or can't afford. We'll repeal the employer mandate so Americans no longer see their hours and take-home pay cut by employers because of it. We agreed on the need to improve the affordability of health insurance, and policies contained in the discussion draft will do that. It will eliminate costly Obamacare taxes that are passed on to consumers so we can put downward pressure on premiums, expand tax-free health savings accounts, and deploy targeted tax credits so we can help defray out-of-pocket costs, and shift power from Washington to the states so they have more flexibility to provide more Americans with the kind of affordable insurance options they actually want. We agree on the need to stabilize the insurance markets that are collapsing under Obamacare as well, and policies contained in the discussion draft will implement stabilization